Good evening and welcome to Simply the Best Night In, live from Ibrox Stadium. If you could sign one player from the current Rangers team for your 9 in a row team, who would it be? Oof, put you on the spot there, Jamie.
For our 9 in a row team. I'd need to be a midfield player so I could get rid of him.
I get rid of me.
I get rid of him. And Garrett, who would I take? I'll probably take the 9 in a row team.
I know, it's quite hard to get in,
a very difficult team.
It'll need to be one of the
It's
mad
actually
ones.
a really difficult one to pick. I mean, people keep asking you about best players and different things like that. But out the current team, Tavernier would come in as a right back because he's a goal scorer.
Exactly, headers, penalties.
He'd get up there and do it. When you look back over a period of years, it's always a wee bit unfair for the guys that are playing at the present moment. We had completely different circumstances when we were involved first time for the standard of player that we could get. But James Tavernier is one of those.
It's a very similar question for you, Ian, but this is from Elizabeth in Argyll, who says if you could have one player from the Rangers team that you'd want as a teammate back then, who would it be?
Oh, it need to be Morelos. He's mad enough to fit with our gang.
I was going to say, it's not just on the pitch, it's in the dressing room.
I was a wee bit surprised at the gaffer, but we had a good dressing room, a wee bit volatile, a bit crazy at times, and I think Morelos would have fitted into our dressing room well.
And the fact that we're doing this on Zoom, Arthur, also allows us an insight into your house. I mean, that's a fantastic jukebox and plant that you've got in the background and some lovely wallpaper.
Yeah, the jukebox. I always said if I had the option to become like playing in a band from the '60s, from the Beatles, Jerry and the Pacemakers, or whatever, I would prefer that than being a professional football player. I'm obsessed with the '50s and '60s.
Wow.
So that's why
Even his fashion.
Arthur, there wasn't many 50s and 60s music up, was there?
No, but I also Disco Fever was also one thing on the dance board. I learned that from you, the moves there.
Yeah, so you did.
Yeah, the profits of One Up went like that when you two left Glasgow.
Exactly. No, but they were good times, exactly. But I said, even sometimes my daughters, they're now 15 and 17, they get some friends here in the house.
Yeah.
I said, what is that? I said, well, that's like a jukebox. I said, that's how they actually play the music. I said, yeah, press the button. And then they press the button, and all of a sudden I said, where is the music coming out? And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, big rattle and roll. And they're looking at, what is this, by the way? And then, of course, then I show them my dance moves, and they're like,
goodness.
oh, you can dance, by the way.
So to sum up in one word, it's been enjoyable. It's a great place to come in and work every day. And obviously, with the support you get from the fans and everything. We're just want to strive, and we've got that desire to go and try and achieve something together as a group now.
Going back to those early years, what can you remember about the first time you played at Ibrox Stadium?
Well, first of all, obviously initially signed on loan. It was done very late in the window. I was delighted to get it done and get it over the line, and then obviously to make my first appearance at Ibrox was really special, having grown up as a fan and watched the team there before. So yeah, just every time I go out there onto the pitch at Ibrox, I try to take it all in and cherish it.
This one's probably two-pronged because, as you say, you were a lone player, you went away and then you came back in the summer. But that day that you then became a permanent Rangers player, what do you remember about that day and your sort of feelings around that?
Yeah, just delighted to get it done, to be honest. I'd obviously been on loan although whenever I was on loan, I did feel like I was very much part of things, so I didn't really feel like I was on loan in many ways. And then went back to Fulham for pre-season. At one point, it didn't look like it was going to get done, and then eventually it did. So just sheer delight.
There's so many here. I mean, over the years, are there particular Rangers memories or fixtures which stand out for you as being, among your very best?
I think the ones that always spring to mind are obviously old firms. Certainly the ones with good results in, ones that have scored in cup finals. In particular, when we scored in the cup final and Jelavic scored as well, that was a great memory for me. And obviously more recently some of the Old Firm games as well, where we've put in really strong performances and got the wins. So yeah, they're always the ones that tend to spring to mind.
We've just heard from Stephen Davis there. You mentioned recruitment. I mean, what a signing he's proved to be the second time around as well, coming in here on a free.
Yeah, you're never quite sure. Obviously, I come back late as well, but when you bring Stephen back, you want to first know that he still has the legs, he still has the hunger, and he still has something to prove. And when you look at his performances, and I'm not just saying this because he was just on the TV there, I actually still think he's one of the standout players because he's always looking to probe. We have midfielders that are very tidy, and I hope they're learning from Stephen, because you look at Kamara's on to another level, Ryan Jacks we're on to another level, and I think that's obviously part of the management team as well. But when you see Stephen Davis doing a killer pass like Thursday night, like a 50-yard raking pass onto inch perfect to Kent, I think if the other midfielders can adopt that level of kind of quality, I think it'll be going forward, it'll be good for the midfielders.
I feel like I've been here for many years. It was easy. The dressing room has made it straightforward to just settle in. The boys have been very welcoming, and also the staff around the building. It's really been easy.
What is it about Rangers that made you want to sign?
It's just a massive club, isn't it? It's everybody worldwide knows about Rangers. From such a big club wanting you, such a big name in the game regarding the gaffer wanting you, it's hard to turn down, and the opportunity to win titles, to play in Europe, and to hopefully win as many things as possible is what I play football for.
How did it feel when you finally pulled on that shirt and walked out at Ibrox for the first time?
Yeah, it was good. Even though I wasn't happy with my first performance, but it was still a good feeling. But it didn't take too long to rectify that first performance and get a start and score as well. So that made it even more of a proud moment for me.
There's been a lot of change over recent years for the women's team. Can you just explain some of the changes to us?
Yeah, I think when I first arrived in 2017, the women's team was part of the commercial department, so in soccer schools, which has obviously recently been rebranded, and we tried to do everything that we could, but I think in one of his interviews, the chairman, Dave King at the time, referred to us as the unwanted kind of stepsister of the club, and we were really fortunate that he took that approach, because through his support, obviously fast forward to kind of 2019-2020, we've went from me with sessional staff and kind of volunteers at the time to 9 full-time staff, a full-time playing squad, moving in integration with the football department, which means that we're really fortunate and in a position to get more knowledge and expertise there. But at the same time, we've had such huge support from the commercial department to be able to kind of increase our awareness of our programme. So I think that it's night and day from 2017 to 2020, and it's an area the club feel passionate about developing and striving forward.
Firstly, across those 3 seasons, what do you think's maybe been the best moment for you so far?
I think it's difficult because we've had a lot of good moments. Obviously qualifying for the Europa League each year has been a fantastic moment, but I think getting the first win against Celtic, I think the atmosphere in the stadium that day, it's always a fantastic atmosphere in Old Firm games, but the first one, the Ryan Jack goal, I've only been in a stadium once when it shook, and it was Liverpool v Chelsea in the semi-final at Anfield, but that was the second time I've seen a stadium shake to the foundations, and it was an incredible day to be involved in.
This is obviously your first managerial role. Do you think that your style has developed over that time you've been in charge so far?
Not the style that I've wanted from day one. I've always had a picture, I've always had an idea of how I wanted it to look. But I think with time you need transfer windows, you need players that are already here, you need them to adapt to what you want. That takes time. It takes time to build a team and a squad. So I think we're playing a lot closer than the style that I envisaged before I came in. And that's credit to the players who listen and they give us everything they've got. We've been really proud of the application from day one, and it's took time to shape the squad and get it close to where we want it, but there's still more improvement, more development and more growing space for all of us.
You know, on behalf of everybody at the Rangers Charity Foundation, we thank you from the very bottom of our hearts, because that is absolutely fantastic. Well, I think it is enough talking from me for one night. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce a band that I followed since they very first started. I remember welcoming them here to Ibrox a number of years ago. Stevie and Al Dukes, they were in a different band then. They're now in a band called St Phoenix. If you don't know them, please look them up, because they are very much the biggest thing coming out of Scotland at the moment. They supported Lewis Capaldi last year. They had an amazing year lined up this year, but for obvious reasons it hasn't happened. So it gives us great pleasure to have them here at Ibrox to close our show. Ladies and gentlemen, St Phoenix.
When I was a young boy, my father said to me, put this scarf around your neck and sing the blues with me. And now I am much older, there's a place I wanna be. It's red first sight, is beautiful and steeped in history. And I know what I'll find when the place comes alive. I got that battle fever coming over me, and I got butterflies and hurricanes shaking my body. Battle fever coming over me, when I follow on and sing the song, it's blue blood that I bleed.